Hey everybody, I'm Carrie and I am so excited to be with you all today. I am an environmental educator and I go to the University of Georgia. So I spend a lot of time learning about what happens outside in every season. And then also I learn about how we can help our friends that live outside. You've seen them in your backyard, maybe you've gone to a park, and I can't wait to show you all of the cool things that are happening right now. So, before we get started, I want you to pause this video and go grab either a sheet of tissue paper like this, a newspaper would work as well, and then just a sheet of white paper and something to write with. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be a crayon, marker, whatever you have. So just hit pause, grab your materials, and then come back. Okay, so I'm going to assume you have all the things you need to learn with me today. So before we get started, I want you to think about what's happening outside right now. You look at the trees, and what do you notice? The leaves are changing, right? It's fall. So those leaves turn from green to yellow and red and brown eventually, and they end up where? What happens when the trees drop their leaves and they fall? Where do they end up? They're on the ground, right? So you also may have noticed people rake their leaves, or maybe they cut them with a lawnmower. And sometimes it's okay to do some things with our leaves, but today I want you all to learn that what you do to the leaves that fall on the ground can actually make a big difference in our friends that live outside. So, to show you what I'm talking about, we're going to play pretend. So, imagine, if you will, you are a very small creature. It can be whatever you can imagine. You're just a very small creature and you live underneath the leaves that are on the ground, not the ones in the trees, the ones on the ground. So take your newspaper or your tissue paper, whatever you have, and put it over your head. This is a leaf. This is what's protecting you from the sun, from getting eaten. It's where you find your food. It's keeping you nice and warm. This is where it all happens. This is your house. Now, you're safe under here. You're a very small creature. And imagine something comes by and takes the leaf off of your head. Now you're exposed and homeless. Or maybe it crumples it up and now it's smaller and you have to move to another leaf. That's what happens to our friends outside that live in the leaves when we disturb them. So, I'm really excited to take you guys on an adventure today. And we're going to go somewhere very special. But first, before we go, I need to put on my adventure hat. Are you guys ready? Put on your adventure hats. It can be an imaginary one, and we're about to go for a walk. Okay, so you may have noticed we're in the woods now, and it's fall. You see the leaves? They're changing, they're turning orange, they're starting to fall to the ground. And now I'm going to show you guys something really cool. All right, so imagine we're walking along the forest and we end up here. Now, I actually grabbed a leaf right out of this picture that you're seeing, and I took it inside. Now, when I took it inside, I did something really cool. I put it underneath a microscope, which a microscope is something that shows you a small little image, something that you couldn't barely see with your eye, and it shows it really large so that you can see what's happening. And this is what I saw. I'm really excited. This was on a leaf that I picked up and looked at. Do you guys see it moving inside? What do you think that little creature could be? Found it on a leaf. That was, believe it or not, a baby ladybug. Isn't that cool? They spend the first parts of their life in leaves. They lay eggs on leaves, and those eggs turn into larvae, and those larvae turn into pupas. And that's what you just saw. You saw a ladybug pupa that I found on a leaf. Isn't that neat? We all love ladybugs. I do. All right, so we're walking along. So now we're at this part. We're still by the water. We're pretty low. Now I'm looking really closely. What could we see here? That's pretty cool. So this is a southern two-lined salamander. Salamanders are amphibians, and they live close to the water, and they live under logs and under rocks and even under leaves. You can see this one is on a leaf right now. And what else do you notice about this? Do you think that he kind of looks like the leaf? Yeah, he's the same color as the leaf, which is a form of camouflage, which is how he can hide from predators that might want to come and eat him. So this guy uses the leaves as shelter, and it's also where he hunts. He actually hunts for food. And do you know what he might eat? Guess who? He might eat our ladybug friends. So our ladybug is actually prey, and our salamander is a predator. All right, so we've met two friends so far, the ladybug and the two-lined salamander, both of which you might even find in your backyard. Okay, so we're walking along, and now we're still by the water, but we're going uphill a little bit, and I'm looking really close to see a brown thrasher. This is a bird, and this is actually our state bird in Georgia. Isn't that pretty cool? So the brown thrasher actually uses leaves to hunt. He'll take a leaf in his beak and flip it upside down and look all around for all kinds of creatures that he might eat, which might be worms. Or can you think of someone else he might eat? We've met him earlier. The salamander. The brown thrasher might eat our two-lined salamander friend, which means he is the predator and our salamander becomes the prey. Isn't that cool? What else do you notice about this? Is the brown thrasher the same color as his background? It's pretty similar, right? So that's another form of camouflage. It makes it harder for predators to see the brown thrasher, which is pretty cool. All right, so we're walking now. We're in the forest. I don't see any water this time, but we might still see some friends. Let's see. Tons of leaves on the ground, so there has to be something. Oh my goodness, this is a corn snake. Now, some of you might be a little afraid of a corn snake, but I'm here to tell you they are our friends. So corn snakes are also found in Georgia. You might see them in your backyard, and they use leaves for similar reasons as everyone else we've met. They use them for cover, for shelter. It's where they feel safe and secure, and it's even where they find food. So our corn snake, guess who he might eat? The brown thrasher, the southern two-lined salamander, both things that our corn snake might eat. Corn snakes also eat chipmunks and eggs of turtles, which is pretty cool, right? They all use the same leaves that you probably walked by every day and never thought anything of. This is pretty neat. Okay, so now we're walking uphill. We're still away from our water. I see oak trees and tons of leaves on the ground, which means we still might find friends. We've already found a lot. Let's see who we might find here. Do you guys see anything yet? Okay, I found something. Are you excited to meet this next friend? It's a chipmunk. This chipmunk uses the leaves for shelter, and it's where they find food. They might eat acorns or nuts that fall to the ground. And guess what else? Our corn snake friend eats this girl right here, this chipmunk. So they all use it for predators. Predators are the ones that eat other things, and prey are the things that get eaten. Pretty cool, right? Now, imagine how hard this would all be if there were no leaves. Where would they go? Where would they find their food? Be pretty scary. All right, so now we're walking. Oh, this is a pretty picture. I see lots of orange leaves all over the ground. There's some still in the trees. Let's see who we might find this time. Okay, this is my favorite one. This is a box turtle. And box turtles use leaves to excavate, which is where they dig little tunnels to live. It keeps them warm, and they even find their food here like everyone else. They lay their eggs in leaves, and if you recall, our corn snake friend might eat our box turtle friends' eggs. That's where they find some of their food. So we definitely need plenty of space so that all of them can use these leaves for all of their different purposes. Now, we've learned a lot on our adventure, and I want you guys to think with me for a moment. So, we learned all about predators, which are, do you remember what predators do? They eat smaller creatures. Okay? And then who is the one getting eaten by the predators? Prey, right? Prey, get eaten. Okay, can we think of any examples of predators that we saw today? Well, we had our corn snake, right? We also had our box turtle. The corn snake, do you guys remember who the corn snake ate? They ate chipmunks. And do you remember who the box turtle might eat? They eat salamanders. And do you remember who who else do we have? Do you recall any of our other friends? What about the ladybug? The ladybug was prey, right? And who might eat the ladybug? The salamander, which is cool because they are both prey and predators. Who else did our corn snake eat? They could eat box turtle eggs, if you recall. And what about our brown thrasher? Who did our brown thrasher eat? Salamanders and worms, who both live in the leaves. Pretty cool, right? So now that you've learned what predators and prey are, you can see that the leaves are really important for them all to be able to find food. If there weren't leaves, I don't know where they would eat. That's pretty scary, right? So now I want you guys to think. Take your white sheet of paper, and I want you to draw. I'm going to draw with you. Actually, I'll draw on this whiteboard. I want you to draw a leaf. I'm going to draw a leaf with you. I'm not an artist. I'm sure you guys are better artists than I am. So here's my leaf. And I've got to think of someone who uses the leaf. So I want you guys to come up with someone that maybe you recall that we met today. I'm going to draw a snake. The snake is under the leaf, and they found some turtle eggs to eat. Okay, so now I want you guys to draw as well. So draw a leaf and draw someone we met today, maybe, that uses the leaf that you drew and how they use it. So I drew an oak leaf here. This is my corn snake friend here who uses the leaf for shelter and protection. And in those leaves, our corn snake friend found food. He found turtle eggs, which is something he eats. And it all happened because there were leaves on the ground for them all to use. Now, when you go outside, even in your own backyards, you might see some of these creatures there. You might see ladybugs turning from pupa into ladybugs. You might see box turtles rummaging around, finding somewhere to live. You probably definitely see squirrels and chipmunks. You might hear them scuffling through the leaves. You might see toads or salamanders. All kinds of things use the leaves outside, which is pretty cool, right? Now, I want you, once you're done with your picture, you can pause the video and draw your pictures out now if you would like. Okay, so now I'm assuming you all have your pictures drawn, and take a few moments and share your pictures if you want. If there's someone that wants to share what they drew and who is in the picture, what kind of leaf it was, what color was the leaf? Was it red? Was it green? Was it brown? And tell us about your friend that's using that leaf and what they're doing. Are they eating? Are they sheltering? Are they looking for food? What are they doing in those leaves? So pause the video now if you want to share. Okay, I know you guys did a great job showing what you learned about who lives in the leaves. But do you know what you can do to help them? It's really simple. You can leave the leaves. Isn't that easy to remember? So take your picture and hold it up. And with your picture, hold it with the hand that you write with. And while you're holding your picture, I want everyone to say, leave the leaves on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Leave the leaves. That is something that you all can do, and you can tell your parents to do it. You can tell your friends to do it, and it's really easy. All you have to do is be gentle around the leaves. If you need to rake the leaves, maybe from your yard because you don't want to kill your grass, just gently rake the leaves with a rake. Don't use a lawnmower to cut them. You can also do things like moving the leaves somewhere else where you can use them, maybe in a flower bed. Even though you may not want them all over your yard, you can still use the leaves in other places around your yard. You can put leaves in one area of your yard so that you can make habitat for our friends like the box turtle or the salamander or the corn snake even, which they can help keep mice and chipmunks away from your yard, which is something a lot of people might not like. And what else? Can you guys think of anything else you could do to help our friends that live in the leaves? You can be kind to them. You can definitely help all of your friends that were in the leaves by leaving them, treading lightly around them. You don't have to stomp through the leaves or um, blow them with a blower. I'm sure you've all seen a leaf blower before. Those are really loud, and they're also really, they can cause problems for people that live under the leaves, right? Remember how you felt when you had your tissue paper over your head? What are some words that come to mind when you had your tissue paper on your head? Does anyone remember how you felt? You probably felt safe, you felt secure, you had food there, you had everything you needed. And then all of a sudden, a leaf blower came and blew it off of you. And then you were exposed and you felt unsafe and maybe scared. So, all you have to do to help our friends that live in the leaves is to leave the leaves. And I know you all are going to do a great job of doing that. Thank you so much for having me spend time with you this morning on our adventure. And I hope you really had fun. And I hope you learned about our friends that live in the leaves and that you decide to leave the leaves every time you go outside in the fall, because now you know that tons of our friends live under there and we need them around, right? Well, I had fun. Thank you guys so much and have a great afternoon.